Good morning everyone, how you doing? It's Paul here from Unusual Things. Now this morning I am starting off at Mill Hill Cemetery. I don't know where I'm going after this, but I'm starting off here. We have come to find the final resting place of Billy Fury. Now, I don't know if you remember him or not, but he was like the British Elvis. He had some great tracks and he was on par, if not maybe better, in his early days than the Beatles, some say. Not all, but some say. Anyway, so we'll be coming to find Billy Fury's final resting place real soon. Now I'm just having a look around here. It is a Saturday, so the likelihood is this bad boy is going to be locked up. And guess what? There it is. And unless any of you know the code, then tell me now, we're not getting in. I guess we're not getting in. Anyway, so yeah, we've come to find the final resting place of Billy Fury. Like I say, I'll tell you a bit more about him real soon. This is a lovely cemetery. I've never been here before, Mill Hill. It's a nice layout. There's lots of, I'll show you some of the graves and stuff. Some, obviously been chucking it down all evening as I squish my way through the area. But yeah, nice place. So I will now tell you a little bit more about Billy Fury.
Ronald Wycherley, 17th of April 1940 to the 28th of January 1983. Better known as Billy Fury, was an English musician and actor. An early star of rock and roll, he equalled the Beatles' record of 24 hits in the 1960s and spent 332 weeks on the UK chart. His hit singles include Wondrous Place, Halfway to Paradise and Jealousy. Fury also maintained a film career, notably playing rock performance in Play It Cool in 1962 and That'll Be the Day in 1973. Fury was born Ronald Wycherley at Smithdown Hospital in Liverpool on the 17th of April 1940. He commenced music lessons on the piano before he was a teenager and was bought his first guitar by the age of 14. Wycherley fronted his own group in 1955 but simultaneously worked full-time on a tugboat and later as a docker. He entered and won a talent competition and by 1958 had started composing his own songs. Wycherley went on to meet pop manager Larry Parnes at the Asoldo Theatre in Birkenhead, hoping to interest one of Parnes' protégé singer Marty Ward in some of the songs that he had written. Instead, in an episode that has since become pop music legend, Parnes pushed young Wycherley up on stage right away. He was such an immediate success that Parnes signed him. He added him to his tour and renamed him Billy Fury. However, his early sexual and provocative stage performances received censor and he was forced to tone them down. In October 1959, the UK music magazine NME commented that Fury's stage antics had been drawing much press criticism. He released his first single for Decca, Maybe Tomorrow, in 1959. He also appeared in a televised play, Strictly for Sparrows, and subsequently on Oh Boy. In March 1960, he reached number 9 in the UK singles chart with his own composition, Colette, followed by That's Love, and his first album, The Sound of Fury 1960, which featured a young Joe Brown on lead guitar, with backup vocals by the 4Js. After securing more hits and splitting from his band Georgie Fame and the Blue Flames, Parnes held auditions in Liverpool for a new group. Among those who auditioned were the Beatles, who at this time were still calling themselves the Silver Beatles. They were offered the job for £20 a week, on condition they sacked their bassist Stuart Sutcliffe. John Lennon refused and the band left after Lennon had secured Fury's autograph. The Tornadoes were recruited as Fury's backing band and toured and recorded with him from January 1962 to August 1963. The Puppets were another band that backed Fury at a couple of gigs for 12 months. Fury concentrated less on rock and roll and more on mainstream ballads, such as Halfway to Paradise and Jealousy, which reached number 3 and number 2, respectively, in the UK singles chart in 1961. Fury confessed to the NME that I wanted people to think of me simply as a singer, and not more specifically as a rock singer. I'm growing up, and I want to broaden my scope. I shall continue to sing rock songs, but at the same time, my stage act is not going to be as wild in the future. It was Decca's decision to mould Fury into a teen idol after his last South Penn song, My Christmas Prayer, had failed to chart. The years 1961 through to 1963 were Fury's best years chart-wise. In 1962 he appeared in the first film Play It Cool, modelled on the Elvis films. It featured Helen Shapiro, Danny Williams, Shane Fenton and Bobby Vee, who appeared with the Vernon's Girls. The hit single from the film, Once Upon a Dream. There were other notable performances by several British actors and performers such as Richard Waits, Lionel Blair and Dennis Price. In 1981 and 1982, Fury was signed to Polydor Records by A&R man Frank Nielsen and recorded a comeback album, The One and Only, released posthumously with Shakin' Stevens producer Stuart Coleman. Owing to his health, Fury did little touring to promote the new album. His last public appearance was at the Sunnyside pub, Northampton, on the 4th of December 1982. A few days before he died, Fury recorded a live performance for the Channel 4 television show Unforgettable, featuring 6 of his old hits, although at the request of his mother, only 4 of them were broadcast. Fury was a keen bird watcher. He lived with businesswoman Lee Everett Alkin, better known as Lady Lee Middleton, from 1959 to 1967. During this time, he had a short relationship with actress Amanda Barry, his co-star in I've Got a Horse. Fury went from Liverpool to London like the Beatles, and he lived in No. 1 Cavendish Avenue, as the same street as Paul McCartney. He is remembered and honoured with a blue plaque there. Fury married Judith Hoare in May 1969, but later left her for heiress Lisa Voice. They lived together in London and sometimes on Fury's farm in Wales from 1971 until his death, although they were leading separate lives for the last 2 years. After returning from a recording session in the early hours of the 28th of January 1983, Fury collapsed from a heart attack at his home in London. His manager, Tony Reid, found him unconscious the next morning. He was taken to St Mary's Hospital in Paddington, but died later in the afternoon, aged 42. Rheumatic fever, which he first contracted as a child, damaged his heart and ultimately contributed to his death. A week after his death, a funeral service was held at St John's Wood Church in London, for which his body was embalmed by Desmond Henley.
So there's all the information there about Billy Fury. Taken way too soon, way too young. 42, you know, and you think about what sort of career he could have had ahead of him. Such a shame, really, you know, because you look at all the likes of people like the Beatles and the Stones and things like that, and they all went on to have massive careers, you know, and he was known, or some people called him the British Elvis, but then you look at Elvis, he went in his 40s, and so did Billy too. Such a shame. Anyway, I think I found it. Wow, such a beautiful, beautiful stone. Okay, let's just start off up here. Look at those photos, amazing. In loving memory of Ronald Wycherley, Billy Fury, passed away 28th January 1983, aged 42. Sadly mourned by Lisa, parents, relatives and friends. His music gave pleasure to millions. Rest in peace, darling Billy. Wow, so well maintained, so beautiful. Look at it. So there we have the final resting place of Billy Fury. Looks like the flowers have fallen over. Just stand them up. Thank you so much, Billy. Bless you for the amazing music you brought, and sadly not being able to continue to bring us that music, which as a generation we probably missed out on a little bit more, but thank you for what you did bring. Bless you. Now I can't get over how beautiful and well maintained that is. You know, it would be nice if everyone's grave was maintained like that, and I understand that family members and relatives and things like that can't always do it. Now, you know, we've got to understand that sometimes relatives get old and they can't come and see their loved ones, or that person may not have any people left. So when you look at a grave sometimes you think, why is it left like that, or why is it deteriorated like that? You have to put those thoughts into consideration, because you know, I've done it myself, even on some of these celebrity graves I've gone to see, and I'm like, why has someone just left it like that and not? But you know, we have to take those thoughts into account as to why they've been left like that. And then you get people like Billy's, of course, who's it's just maintained really well, isn't it? It's looked after really well. So you know, whether that's fans, whether it's family left, I don't know, but you know, it's always nice to see that when they're left like that. And you know, I don't mean that, like I said earlier, along the lines of just celebrity. Very rarely I have to duck to go and do anything. 5'10". Yeah, I don't mean that just along the lines of celebrity, I mean that along the lines of anyone. You know, if there are relatives, it's nice if they can help out a little bit. Anyway, that's it from me today from Mill Hill Cemetery in, is it Barnet? Westminster. So I'm just squinting my eyes to have a look. Westminster, that's where we are, Westminster. Yeah, thank you very much for joining us. Please leave your comments down below, won't you? Let me know if you've ever seen Billy Fury live. Now, I know my mum did, because I told her today I was going here. She said, I saw him, brilliant, he was amazing. So that's cool. So yeah, if any of you guys out there have ever seen him live, or if you bought lots of his records when you were younger or anything like that, please leave it in the comments down below. If you like the video today, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. Just to reaffirm, when you hit that subscribe button, you don't pay anything. It's a free subscription, all right? Just to let you know. All right, take it easy. See you soon. Ta-da.